talking about Anne Vimbai Nhira is not an easy thing. Talking about her after she's gone, after she's passed on, because that's a very big loss to me personally. She became my daughter on Studio 263, and she also became the daughter of the whole country, Zimbabwe, and she also became the celebrity of Zimbabweans all over the world, in the diaspora and everywhere. So now it's really a sad day talking about her as having gone. But we also have to accept that death is part of life. And I also have had to come to terms with that fact that death is part of life. My recollections of Anne, firstly, Anne was not just an actress. She became an inspiration to many young girls, many young men whom I know who are now in the film business because of Anne. What Anne did in 2002 is Vimbai Jari on Studio 263. I didn't know Anne until Studio 263. She was cast in my absence. In fact, I was overseas on another project when Studio 263 started, and it had run for, if I'm not mistaken, 10 or so weeks. When I got back, that's when I met Godwin Mahulu, who said, look, we've got it started, but we need to turn it into a soap. At that time, for those first few weeks, many people just taking Studio 263 just like another Zimbabwean drama. So Godwin and I sat down, and one of the brightest lights that came up was that Anne was there. She was a little girl, I think she was 18, a little more than 18. Had just come out of school. You know, she'd never done any real acting, except that she was a model, and modeling is acting. You know, that's what helped her. So she took on the role, and Anne became an inspiration to many Zimbabwean young boys, young girls, who today are the leading filmmakers in Zimbabwe. On set with Anne, as another actor, it was a pleasure, because you know, when you have an actor or actress whom you are working with, who knows what they're doing, it helps you also bring your character to the level that you want. There's nothing as frustrating as working with an actor or actress who cannot remember their lines, who don't remember their actions. Anne was excellent. When we started working together, of course, like every other young untrained actor, she thought that knowing the lines was important. But with the help of the other directors, we was fortunate. We had Dylan, who also played Kenge, with Ben Mahaka, who had very sizable experience as a filmmaker, and Godwin Mahulu himself. Together we guided the young actors and actresses like her, and she excelled. Before anyone could know, she would remember her actions and her lines, and she was really good. And now she had grown to become a voice of the film industry in Zimbabwe. That's what Anne had become, and we were all proud of her. I worked with her here, and then when in South Africa, after 2008, we connected in South Africa, and she would come home as part of the family, because she was really good at that. You know, we became father and daughter, really, which was really wonderful. I'm reminded of one incident where I got a phone call from this young man who says, Mr. Huni, please, I need to see you. Okay, all right. We arranged, we met, and said, what I want to see you about is about your daughter. Which one? Your daughter, Vimbai. Oh, what about it? Look, I really want to marry her. You know? I said, so what's the problem? You're telling the wrong person. Tell her. He said, no, that's the problem. She won't give me a chance to tell her that I want to marry her. When I'm saying she doesn't take it serious. So, what do you want me to do? He said, please tell her that I'm serious. I want to marry her. Well, as things turned out, I called you and I said, and can we meet? So we met, and the young guy was there. And so she took me aside. And he said, what's the issue there? He said, look, this young man wants me to tell you that he seriously wants to marry his wife. And he said to me, Baba man, dinga siyana enaro man. You know? And I said, no, well, look, my bro was to deliver a message, you know. Yeah, that's Anne. She was, I was just really a father. She was really nice. And all the people who work with her, I don't know anybody who didn't enjoy working with her. And Chipo Bizure, you know, and Uruta, all of them, every one of us loved her. And now that she had become a filmmaker in her own right, there are things that we're looking forward to be doing together with her. Funny enough, a few weeks ago, probably 6-7 weeks ago, I got a message from her saying, Dad, how are you? And I think that was the time when we'd lost a lot of people during COVID, you know, and I responded to her. But that's the last time I spoke to Anne. And I say, may her soul rest in peace. She's our starlet. She's gone before us. And I hope that we will be able to give her a befitting send-off. Among the girls whom we groomed to become actors and actresses was Chipo Bizure. Now Chipo is special to me because she's Mampala. I'm Mara as well, you know? So she's my daughter in my clan daughter as well. So that was an added advantage for her, right? But like I said, when we started, they were little. They were barely girls, you know. Now she's grown to become a woman and a brilliant actress. Chipo is special in terms of being a brilliant actress because she moved on to do theater. I come from theater. I went into movies after theater. She did movies first and went into theater. Theater and the arts, it's very where we are. She knows that stage behind me very well. She's performed there. And performing for theater is different from films. You have to have the whole script in your head when you go on stage because there's no cut and retake. You are there and you just got to do it right. So she's going to become a good actress. She has traveled to many countries with theater. And I haven't had the pleasure of actually working with her on theater or seeing her on stage. But I've heard from people like Anna, Gocha, and the other people who she's been interacting with. Yes, she's gone on to be a good actress. I know that I did a theater piece with Mandy, who played my sister in Studio 263. We did Lovers, Friends, and Money.
Tendai.
Tendai, yes.
Chakanyuka.
Tendai Chakanyuka, that's right. We did Lovers, Friends, and Money by Stephen Chifunyise. but that's many years ago. Time flies, it's almost 20 years since we last did that. But these are the people whom we were with on 263, who have matured.
There is also Mr. Sibenke.
Yes.
And I've spoken to you, to him, to Aaron Chiundura Moyo. Hopefully we also going to speak about him. And there is this mutual respect.
Yeah, well, they say, well, there is honor among thieves. But when Shona, my aunt Matsuta Gerani, no, the people you're mentioning, those are my colleagues, those are my buddies. Ben Sibenke, we practically grew up together. You know, the first feature film I did, Pfuma Yedu, which we renamed Gocha, nyama, moto, uchiripo. I asked him to come and play a very interesting character. And he did a wonderful job, Ben Sibenke. Now that's the film I was doing when we asked Godwin Mauru to come and work with us. We had recruited Godwin Mauru to work, I think it was one of King Solomon's productions. When I went to shoot in Sharon to film Pfuma Yedu, which was funded by the Danish Film Commission, Godwin Mauru came as my sound man, and Ben Sibenke came as our actor. You know, in fact, after that, that's the time when Godwin and I discussed the story of Neria, you know, which was the time story of his mother's story. And it went to one thing led to the other. So Ben Sibenke, whom I like to call Chigorimbo, because he did this play which was really amazing, a thriller of a play which everybody was thrilled. Yeah, and we continue to interact. He was a teacher at the time. For a long time he was in education. Until when we are people who retired. I'm getting to my 70th birthday myself. So, you know, we've been around. Yes, Ben Sibenke is talented. He's a father figure. And he's a person who knows what he wants. And when you give him a part, he will turn it around. What he gives you back is better than what you've started before. That's
You said he was in Pfuma Yedu. I watched that film. Which role?
K. the Bagger, the person who was at the wedding, the one who was the wedding. Yes, remember he was. There was quite a number of jokes that he came up with. You know, like you'd pretend he's hitting a drum. Meanwhile, it's coordinated with the drummers. That is, it goes like that in the drumming, and then it goes faster. And it's really, he's a theater man. He's one of the best. He's one of the gurus in theater in the country. Him and the late Walter Mparitsa. Yeah, we did a number of plays way back in the late 70s, early 80s. Nana Simon Shumba, Ntiro Wafanza. You know, that's Walter Mparitsa, Ben Sibenke, and my colleagues. Yeah, we came from theater.
Then we have Aaron Chiundura Moyo.
Aaron is talented. He had written Muharare Amurare just at the time when PSI and ZBC negotiated to start a soapy. And Aaron was the natural person, although at the time the people who were at ZBC, they didn't know that. because nothing like the soap had happened in Zimbabwe. In fact, many people were saying it cannot happen. I remember the first time I took an African film to kind theaters as they were. And they were saying, no, we cannot accept an African film because nobody would come to watch it because the cinema audience were mainly white. So when the time came when Aaron had to pen a soapy, it was tough. But he knew what to do because he went to PSI and sat down there and said, look, what exactly are you asking for? So they told him. Then he said, okay, now I know what you want. Because there had been a number of scripts that had gone there, and PSI was saying, this is not good enough. Then they told him what they wanted, sat down, penned it, and it started off. And when I came, Godwin told me that, because we talked about it when they were talking about Marara, and I was out of the country. When I came back, that's when they started 263. And Aaron said to me, my brother, we've got this thing. There's something about that we need to get to work. Let's do it. And we sat down, Aaron, and we used to argue a lot. No, this won't work. But this will work. But at the end of the day, it actually works. Yeah, that's Aaron. No, Aaron is a pillar of strength. He's a pillar of strength. Especially theater and film business.
So I've got a question.
Yeah.
You came in when Studio 263 had already been running, but it's a project that's closely identified probably with you more than anyone else. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, look, I was the only person in the country who actually had training as a filmmaker, as an actor, as a director, as a producer. So I had worked Nana, the Cry Freedom, which brought Denzel Washington in. I was the fixer. It was me who brought the project to Zimbabwe. And that was 80, that was 82, 83. Before that, I'd been on King Solomon's Mines and several other productions, so I knew exactly what mattered, what turned a normal drama into a soap. That was the key. And besides, in the late mid 80s, the Zimbabwe government, through the Minister of Information, asked me to go and represent Zimbabwe in FESPACO. The Africa-wide festival where African films were. And when I got there, where my eyes were open, that's where I met these big producers from Senegal, from Mali, from Ethiopia, Anna Haile Gerima, Anna Solomon Bekeleweya, Anna Suleiman Sise, the Usman Sembenes, Kwa Ansa from Ghana. That's where I met them in Nigeria. And when I came back from Nigeria, in fact, while I was still in Nigeria, I was also a visiting director and actor when I saw that they were doing in Nigeria, Behind the Clouds. And Behind the Clouds had an audience of more than 40 million at that time. Because I was working for project I was doing was funded by NTA, Nigeria Television Authority. I was working with Peter Ego from Nigeria. And so when I came from Nigeria, I had the hands-on experience of what a soap is all about. So when I came to Studio 263 and when Gordon told me, he said, come on, this thing started, but somehow it's not quite working. What is it that you can, add? Because we talked about starting a soap in Uganda. It's when I looked at it, and then I realized there were some elements that were missing. And one of the elements that was missing was you need a central character in a story. Someone to whom, if so-and-so hears about it, what's going to happen? There's going to be fireworks. That's how we created the John Huni character. And then around it, fortunately, there were people like Muvengwa. Now, which was interesting, there's another one from 263, Nevernay, Chinyanga. His Shona was excellent. And when I came, the other directors, one or two directors, said, no, we are writing him out of the story because he's too much Shona. This is a modern story. It's a story about young girls in modeling, But then we sat down, Aaron Chiundura and I said, no, the thing is, one, you need a central character. But secondly, Muvengwa had a big audience, a big following in the country because people love these Shona proverbs and everything. He was the kind of person that now we're talking like this. He could go for 10 minutes saying exactly what I'm saying in just one proverb to another. That was Nevernay Chinyanga. So we brought him in and then we created the character of John Huni, who was a friend of Muvengwa. And then he was the character, and then we were able to do the twist around, who happened to have been the father of Vimbai, although Vimbai's mother is married to another man. And the question was, does this Jari know that Vimbai is mwana wake? Is she mwana utaka uiwa na mai very pregnant? Or mai wakamba? Those questions are what create drama. And of course, Huni became the pivot around which these issues would go around, And so, which is what we need. That's why in America they've got every blockbuster. It's because they say, Mona Denzel Washington. Or because the central character there, like the James Bond films, that James Bond became the central character around whom issues were going around, the hero, So that's what John Huni was created, the hero at that time. And that's why, because I knew how to deliver it, I worked alongside actors like Anna Sharon Stone, and Christopher Lee, and so forth. And the way they I used to think to myself, now if this was Christopher Lee, how would he put it? That's what I used to do. So that's what I was doing. I would just do that. Or I think James L. Jones, how would he put this one? Or Danny Glover, how would he put this one? Denzel Washington, how would he say this? This is where he played like this. And I had worked as an assistant director to people like Sir Richard Attenborough, who was a great director, and Bill Corcoran, and J. Lee Thompson. These are people who knew what directing is about and who knew how to deliver. And that's what I had learned hands-on from them. So when I got the character of the part of John Huni, I remember the first time when we discussed it, actually, I can't remember that it was Aaron or Gordon who says, Kuma Steve, let's get someone to play this part. And then we said, okay, so we looked for somebody. And then at the end, we said, to save time, he said, no, it's okay, again. Because I had worked with it, I knew I could deliver it. So I said, no, let's do it. And then we do it. And the next thing was how to find Mai Huni, where then I said, Charmaine Mangwende, why not use it? Because Charmaine Mangwende was on the production as costumes, So I said, no, let's use Charmaine, which was interesting. Because Charmaine, at the time she grew up, it paid to be a colored. And her friend was Rozalla Miler, and they used to sing together. They were backup girls, Mama Krupsa him. So we had to say to her, no, Charmaine, how do you want the people out there? We want something that people identify with, So the majority of the people in this country speak Shona. So what are the things that the Shona people identify with? So if you accept to be Chiera, it would work. Hautanga should say, I don't want that this is Chi, Dara is No. Remember, it's about audience. So, and it was I called Chihera, you know, she intended, Jena, Pakutanga, she was, you know, but we just did it once. And suddenly, and I'm more for this, follow us. Kuzoti, Anamkanya, my Anamkanya, in these countries, you know. Follow Jenaga, Kanyaga, you know, in then Kanya, Misha Maleo, Kanya, Muvengwa. You know, I couldn't help. It was just the right mixture that created a celebrity. Tendai, my second daughter. Well, I don't know which second between Tendai and the Chipo Bizure. Vimbai Tendai. Tendai was a baby in 2002. I'm not sure she was more than 16. She must have been about 15, 16. Yeah. And she was at school, but Tatenda was a girl who was going through a difficult time at that time. I can't remember the details now, but I know that she was having a hard time studying at the same time as asking her to play the role of Tatenda or Tendai, you know. But again, the wonderful thing with her is that she was young, she was chubby, she was a bit awkward, but she got in there. When you asked her to do something, she would do it. If you asked Tendai to cry, she would cry. Just like that. That's the kind of person she was. She was really good. You know, it was a pleasure to have Tendai at that time. But I've since been in touch with Tendai throughout. At the time she got married, started having children, the time she decided to go into Parliament, and her first day in Parliament, and the things that she had to face, and how to face the challenges of being in Parliament, how to actually make a point. We've been together. Now she can teach me what to do in Parliament. But I remember the first days where she used to ask, Dad, now they are going on to this issue. They've taught us 1, 2, 3, but how can I represent our industry? She's passionate about the film industry, and she's passionate about other young people, both men and women. That's Tatenda. We are proud of her in Parliament. She's doing a very good job, and I think what we've seen is nothing compared to the future. She learns fast. She's a quick learner, and she puts her heart into things. Like you've seen the way she's developed herself. When I saw her, she was doing high school when we started in 2002, and now she's got at least 2 degrees in her pocket. That's Tatenda. Honorable Tatenda Magetera, we are with you all the way. I'm one of the most privileged people in the industry, because my background, from my mother's side, my father's side, it's a background of artists. I come from a family of artists, generations of people who were involved in the arts. Whether it's drummers, my grandfather was a drummist. He was well known as drummer. I wrote Ngoma 8. I wrote Ngoma 8 around 4, which is Tamba. And that's where I was born. So even when I was a baby, kurizwa kungoma, kutambiwa, kuyimbwa was natural. And whether zaituka because paita rufu, or paita mtambo, mchato, and then my father became a priest. And I grew up church Sunday school, church choir. I remember doing my first sketch. I remember church where I played Goliath. I played Goliath. My ear can know here I'm with the people or not. That is natural to me. So the same thing resonated on stage. When I went to stage, I became part of Tagaiti Harare Reps, Nana, Johnny Indy, Nana, Gocha, Parutsa, and so forth. Where theater, you know. And one of the things that my ears whether I'm with my crowd or not, which you know, kana uchiparidza kuchechi unotofana kuziva kuti apa ndaandika arapa ndinavo vanhu vese, you know. So I was fortunate from that place. So when the time came ndizosenza nana Sharon Stone, and when I got there, my first day on set, the director anowana ndiri patheatre tapedza, I think ndaandichita nongo pap yaArthur Fugard tapedza ndobva director ati look, I saw you on stage, I would like you in my film. So I said okay. So the next day we went to set. Ndapa set, the people now was I was training manager of an insurance company. Can you come with some of your friends? $25 so $25 a day. In those days, $25 was equivalent to $50 US. Saka tapeza teacher because in any stage, those were I know what you must do. Director noticed, and on my first day on set, I became an assistant director. So I know the reason was because I come from that kind of background. Show business is in my family.
Okay. Would you like to comment on the boys?
Boys.
That's Dread, Ramaplan, Denzel Buruta, and Morgan Bowser.
Yeah. Okay. Unlike Sharon, Godwin Mauru, myself with experience here, but they were in the same categories as Anne Nhira. Angwa boys changu kuchukua. Saka and you know in the age yavanga vari papo yema 18 kai. You know Netsaka, because that's when you think that's when you know everything. No one can tell you anything. That's where they were. But here they are, they've seen the power of being on screen. So they had to listen to what the director was saying, you know. But the nice thing was that they were brilliant. And as soon as they agreed to be directed, they became wonderful. Dread weluma plan, dread weluma plan, because we would say, no, when an actor, it's your role, it's your job to make that character come to life. And that's what the guys did, all of them. Now Morgan and Bowser, the first James, was brilliant. He's doing a good job today in South Africa. Yes.
Okay. I think, thank you very much. We had not scripted this discussion. It was just about Ian, who was married in South Africa, sadly, but it turned out to be about a lot more.
Yes.
Did we leave out anyone?
There may be, but then you and I, we are always together.
Maybe there's just one issue of what Tatenda mentioned, that the Englishness of everybody else on the set began to really affect him.
Yeah. Remember, we had people like Dylan Wilson, Max Wilson, who was his mixed race. His normal language at home is English, and he was there as a director. So, in his opinion, this had to have. In fact, they wanted someone to train English diction and everything. And when I came, I actually said, no, our audience is whom we must resonate with. You know, I remember there was a big challenge with Carl Don, who was Godwin's friend and former employer, who had wanted it to be really English. We wanted to bring people who teach people to speak English like the Queen. And I said, but our audience doesn't speak English like the Queen. They like to hear people speak English like the Queen. So it's nice to have a character who's like that. But it doesn't resonate with them. They don't feel you're part of them. The power is in the audience feeling this is us.
Thank you very much.